You mentioned that there's the death of YouTube.
Oh yeah.
What is the death of YouTube?
So the only reason I put it in our notes is because it might relate to us. I don't know where we're putting all of this up at, but this has just been in the past few days, and I'll read the notes that I have here because it's going to be faster. But essentially, just to quickly summarize it, essentially YouTube's implementing a new system to isolate controversial religious and supremacist videos, and effectively, if a video is flagged by users to that they say it violates hate speech or extremism policies, the videos will be looked into. And if YouTube finds out that the videos don't actually violate the policies but still contain religious extremism content or that kind of thing, they're going to put them in what they're calling like isolation, where let me see, they're going to be putting them in a limited state, which means that the video is going to be put behind an interstitial, which I had to look up the word.
Yeah, what does that mean?
But apparently it is, from what I understand, it's kind of like unlisted mode. You know how like if you put a video in unlisted mode, you have to have the direct link to it. You can't just find it. So that's kind of what it means. It means putting it in between two web pages where you have so you're not really going to be able to see it. Like, I guess if you have a video that might be mature rated, it would be behind that login age wall that you might get that's age restricted. That'd be kind of like it. But I might be wrong in that. The videos won't have features like comments, suggested videos, and you can't get likes. And YouTube has come out and said that they're going to be working with a whole host of different anti-hate speech organizations, and the first one that they listed was the Anti-Defamation League, which for a lot of people threw up red flags, because when the election was going on, they were the first people to throw out that Pepe the Frog was racist and a white supremacist symbol.
Wow.
Yeah, so those are the people who are going to be in charge of our 1984 overlords, basically.
Wow.
But it's been kind of a long time coming. They've been doing it with the adpocalypse that supposedly happened. And, a few months ago, I guess end of last year, they started this whole family-friendly thing where, you weren't going to be able to monetize a video if it had certain things in it. And a lot of people cried censorship. And I have always been quick to defend where I think real censorship is and where I don't, because I don't think taking away monetization is true censorship. It might be soft, but they're not saying you can't upload something. They're just saying they won't put ads in front of it. They
take away all the social marketing.
Right. And in this case, I do believe it's censorship because they are legitimately hiding the video and preventing you from interacting with people. And so I guess people will say, well, it's YouTube and Google, they're a private entity. They can do whatever they want. Yeah. To an extent, I agree. But I think now they're so huge. They're like the giant market shareholders at this point.
They are a public utility for
at this point, digital video. That I don't know if it's really a legit thing anymore to say that. It's kind of a weird place, because what if we decide to put this up on YouTube and then the next day it's just,
here's what's funny. Who do you think will complain first about CVC? Will it be the Christians, or will it be like an atheist or something like that who's just tired of Christian shenanigans?
Here's the thing is, I don't think it'll be the atheists. I think for the majority, the atheists would argue it and would argue the points that we might make. Yeah. I think the Christians would be the first ones to jump on that and be like, well, we don't like it. And sorry, guys, but I mean, it's happened. And I don't know how that's going to work. And
to be sure, like, we're not here as like a church bashing entity or anything like that. But we are going to poke fun at the culture of the church. Yeah, because it's hilarious.
And I think the weirdest thing about this is that they're doing this with a bot. Yeah. I almost said a robot, like beep boop boop, but it's just it's a bot that they're using. And if I'm not mistaken, the one article I saw said that that 75% of the content that they have tested this on never saw human hands. Yeah. That's kind of yeah. I mean, there are certain words, like, and I'm hoping that when they say
like extreme religious positions or whatever they're saying like that. Like, I hope they're not talking about Joe Christian with his,
yeah, I know,
with like, I forgot what his name is, like V Christian Blogger or whatever his name is, or guys like that who are sharing their faith and using YouTube as a platform to do that. But, we're all using YouTube as a platform to push our stuff.
And, the rules that they've put out, the policies are so vague in how they can be applied that they could just do whatever with it. And that's what really a lot of people are up in arms about. And as, I'll just admit that I follow a lot of skeptic/atheist channels, just in general, because they do make really good arguments about and they're not even talking about Christianity, but just the social whatever's happening in society today. And it's one of those things where it's like, well, those guys are providing a different opinion that YouTube and Google might not necessarily like, because they don't toe maybe their political line or leaning or whatever, and then all of those channels could be gone. And then it's like, well, I just lost 3/4 of the content I watched. So why would I go back to YouTube?
Right. Yeah, and that's going to be a problem. And I think I hope they understand that.
I hope they do too.
Because there's a lot of like weirdos that are using YouTube. Like, and I love getting caught in the dark places of the conspiracy theorist and all that. Like, I can lose days in that stuff. Not that I believe it, but man, it's hilarious. And
conspiracy theories I'm totally fine with watching because they're great. Let's be honest. But when a channel that might be right leaning or conservative gets age restricted, that's perfectly clean, but they just get age restricted.
They just don't like the politics.
Yeah, or somebody, you can't even talk about war and terrorism or anything like that, even if it's news, without the advertiser bot freaking out.
Right.
And yet there were still videos, there might still be, of ISIS training videos that were up there, literally watching people explode, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And they're not touched, and that's where people are really pointing out some of the hypocrisy with YouTube. And so it's kind of watching this whole huge entity just start spiraling because they're trying to cater to so many people.
Right.
It's just, they need to take a hard stance. Just say, here are the rules.
Yeah.
This is what we want. And if they don't want people on there who are
have an opinion, or if they only want Spider-Man and pregnant Elsa videos on there, then they just need to say it, because apparently that's a genre. Right. You think, like, for people like us, they should be happy that we're providing original content.
Yeah, you'd think. But, they're starting that YouTube TV thing where it's ABC and all of these huge TV networks that are going to be providing content. And I think part of it has to do with that, because if you look at their trending pages, that's pretty much the content that's all there, people who are on those networks. So you can tell that there's a lot of bias. So
the internet's not for amateurs anymore, is it?
Apparently they're trying to call the Wild West of the internet. And that's not fun. That's not fun for anyone, because memes are awesome. Yeah.
And, I hate to say it, but that's been kind of our defining pattern of life for 20 years I'm not that I'm that old, but but seriously, we've been living online for a couple of decades now, for sure. And and that attraction has been like open,
right?
Like the Wild West kind of thing going on. Like, sure, horrible things happen, but at least no one can tell us what to do,
right?
Except now they do.
It's interesting because it's happening with like Facebook and Twitter too.
Yeah,
Twitter's been, I think somebody said, and don't quote me on this, but I think somebody said all of last month Twitter never got a single new user, and they're stagnating right now. I guess their stocks have been dropping, and they're doing the same thing as YouTube. They're getting rid of certain people that they don't like, who have a certain opinion, that kind of thing. And Facebook does it too, where they'll take people off if you say anything bad about a very specific religion, and that kind of thing. And so not ours. No. But yeah, it's interesting to see what's going on.